Welcome back, boys and girls. It's time for the long-awaited Jeffrey Epstein numerology video. I'm going to preface this by saying I am not in the least bit suicidal. Don't have any thoughts of suicide, not now, not in the near future. So if I'm suddenly hanging or come up dead, it wasn't me. So let's just get that out of the way right now. I think we would have an easier time writing a screenplay for Godfather 2.0 because we all know Godfather 3 was crap. This just reeks of organized crime. Hi, Jules. It's like magic. I don't call him over. I don't lure him in any way, but he does always have to come and make himself known. So this is Jules. We meet Jules in every video. Hi, Jules. Bye. Bye, Jules. Okay. The download of information into my brain is absolutely overwhelming. So yes, I did Jeffrey Epstein's numbers, and I'm sure that it was just a suicide. Okay, now that we're done joking. So I can tell you that Jeffrey Epstein's life lesson is a 39, 12, 3, which means he's a 3. What's funny though, and the reason why I threw the 12 in there is because a 12 in the tarot deck is the number of the Hanged Man. How uncanny, right? His soul vibration is a 35-8, which means it's karmic. His outer personality is a 66, 12, 3, Hanged Man. And his destiny was 101, which is a 2, which is interesting. So that being said, here's what he had with all those 3s. That means he had the gift of gab. He was charismatic. He was able to bend people to his will. We also know that he was a narcissistic sociopath. So this guy could lie effortlessly. He could win you over and he had no thought. He had no remorse, no regret, did not give a shit what he was doing when he's lying to you. And so this is he's a college dropout who somehow got a job teaching math at a prep school, which I guess he was an average at best math teacher. But he tutored this guy's kid who happened to be an executive at Bear Stearns, which is how he got his job at Bear Stearns. And then, of course, he met with some sort of controversy there, which is how he lost his job at Bear Stearns. Decided he was going to go into investing in his own company, which was an ultimate failure. And then he meets his first opportunity, let's say an opportunity, which is not good. And that is with Stephen Hoffenberg. So Stephen Hoffenberg was paying him $25,000 a month to work for him. And what they did is they developed a huge Ponzi scheme. And this was before Bernie Madoff came on the scene. So this was the biggest Ponzi scheme next to Bernie Madoff. So they bilked people out of $475 million. So when he met this guy, Jeffrey was in a 44-8 personal year. Once again, 44-8. 8, wealth, abundance, power. You're given an opportunity. Okay, you are given an opportunity to follow a certain amount of steps in order to create wealth and abundance. But what do? We skip steps trying to get from 1 to step 10 without going through the proper channels. And because Jeffrey Epstein is a con man and has always been a con man and a silver-tongued genius, he gets in on this Ponzi scheme and decides to steal from people. So eventually, Stephen gets found out. He pleads guilty instead of going through the court system. So there'll be no discovery. Therefore, Jeffrey Epstein's name just magically falls off the case. So this would be for one of 2 reasons. Being that either Jeffrey was still out bilking people for Stephen Hoffenberg, or because he was connected with the Jewish mafia, which, yeah. So at some point, Stephen Hoffenberg gets some sort of conscience, or so he says. He takes the whole rap for this crime that him and Jeffrey were partners on. So when you're wondering where did Jeffrey get his money, he got his money from stealing it, because he had a $70 million hedge fund that he created out of nothing. He had one client. That one client was Les Wexner. Sorry, I almost messed that up. Les Wexner. And this is your guy from Victoria's Secret. Oh, I'm just a simple businessman. Okay, so let me tell you, this guy was a member of the Jewish mafia. So through his ties to Les Wexner, he meets Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert, was in the Jewish mafia and was cronies with Meyer Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, that whole crew. So think about all the connections here, everything that's going on. So do you think that Stephen Hoffenberg is going to throw Punk Epstein in when he's that connected? He'll end up dead. So there's a whole bunch of different interminglings here. And I can tell you that Miss Maxwell, she was born into a crime family. Absolutely. So her soul number is a 62-8. She was trapped in karma. She was born into a crime family. There was no getting away from it. Hi, Grace. It's really interesting. So to follow the money, to follow, I mean, there's so many potential hitmen in this case. It's mind-boggling, and honestly, it makes my brain short circuit. So we can take it from the beginning. I can tell you that there's one of two scenarios when I look at the numbers that led up to the day of his death. And everything points back to The Godfather. I just keep getting scenes of The Godfather. Godfather just keeps coming into my mind, coming back into my mind. And so think to Jeffrey Epstein's first suicide attempt. He was in a 72-9 that day. That was a message. Like, I suggest you don't talk. This is your warning. This is your final warning. You don't talk. You don't throw us in. We'll see what we can do for you. Okay, and then there's two other ways that we can go with his numbers. I'm leaning towards the murder, but I will tell you what numbers that he was in, and we'll make that determination, since there's so much that's still sealed because they're protecting so many people. I can tell you right now, we're going to start with the Metropolitan, whatever the hell that place was called, Correctional Center, the Metropolitan Correctional Center. How many people got paid off? Let's figure that out. So let's start there. And let's just look at the pattern and see what you think. One of the things I like to do in my numerology business when it comes to people's relationships is look at the number combination when we combine your number with your partner's numbers or anybody that you deal with. And we get the dynamics together and see how that is going to blend. So let's look at the people that are emphatically denying the charges against them. So we've got Ghislaine or whatever the fuck her name is. Sorry, pardon my language. And we have Prince Andrew. Emphatically denying the allegations. I would never. Now we know that Miss Maxwell was a madam. Jeffrey was a pimp. And this whole thing is much bigger than Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, I feel like, is a front man, thief, piece of shit. But this involves so many people from the outside that it's just takes on a life of its own. So let's look at the people that are emphatically denying their involvement. We have Andrew Albert Christian Edward. Okay, I emphatically deny this. I have never done this. I would never ever put a child at risk in order to have sex with her. Are you kidding me? It never happened. Okay, and then we have Miss Maxwell. So let's take a look at their relationship. Let's look at Jeffrey Edward Epstein and Miss Maxwell. So their life lessons blend together. They create a 93, 12, 3. And let me give you a visual, because there's a tarot card for every one of these numbers. Hanged Man. Yep, Hanged Man. How convenient, right? So this is screwing both of them. But hey, life is all about choice. We have free will, right? And you chose wrong. Their souls, when they come together, create a 97. 97, 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 is the Tower. Does this look happy? Nope. Those are two bodies shooting out of a tower that just got hit by lightning. This means complete destruction. Their coming together created complete destruction, not only of their own lives, but of everybody else that they touched. So I think that Miss Maxwell needs to be watching her back, because if she wasn't actually responsible for him going, or some of her connections, she's going to be the next to suicide. I'm just saying that prediction, potential prediction there. It just doesn't look good. Their destinies together created a 237. 7 plus 3 plus 2 equals 12. Yeah. Hanged Man. Okay, so it's so interesting that they all come out to be Hanged Man, and it's just uncanny to me. Okay, so now let's look at Albert Andrew Christian Edward, and let's see how he blends with Jeffrey. I don't know how I didn't get their life lessons put together, but their souls create a 64-1. Let me show you that. This is the tarot card for the 64-1. Isn't that pretty? Man face down with 10 swords in his back. This is your complete destruction right here. There is no place to go here, except for up or out. There's really no wiggle room. You've met your complete defeat. So I think that the palace would do well to walk away, or with all the money that they have, could they have been responsible for his ultimate demise? Because dead men tell no tales. Something to think about, right? But their destiny, that was their souls. Okay, what they came here to do, they met their demise here. Their destinies create a 219. Guess what a 2 plus 1 plus 9 is? You guessed it, 12. Hanged Man. Okay, so he's just got Hanged Man all around him. So it really doesn't surprise me that he died due to hanging. Who's got the bigger power here? Is it the royal family? Is it the Jewish mafia? Who was it who paid off the Metropolitan Correctional Center? And this is what pisses me off, is that these people think we're so stupid. Either that or they just really don't care how stupid that we are. Okay, so he went off a suicide watch. Okay. His roommate's gone. Okay. The cameras just happened to be turned the wrong way that night. Okay. His guards fell asleep. They were all working overtime. Okay. And we are so stupid, right? It's just crazy enough that the public will believe it. They'll never believe, in a million years that we could be that careless. So of course it's got to be true, right? And how many freaking people bought that shit? How many people actually believed that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide? It's a comedy of errors that would never happen in a million years. This is all payoff shit. Did you remember in The Godfather? Yes. When Tom Hayden goes to visit Frank. Anyways, he goes to visit him in prison, and he's their star witness, and he's going to testify against the mafia, and he's like, hey, dude, you really don't want to do this, Sean. I think he just kind of handed him some razor blades. The next thing you know, the guy's freaking dead. I don't think any of that happened because he didn't hang himself. It was more of a, okay, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here and say this. Like I said, there's such a download of shit coming into my psyche right now that it's really hard for me to separate it. Anytime anybody gets too close to this child sex trafficking, people die. Chris Cornell. Chester. These people yeah, they had some tough times. They were addicted to drugs. They had some deals going, but they got too close and hanging. It's real easy to go and choke the life out of somebody and then hang them up and make it look like a suicide. I'm just saying. Once again, I am not at all suicidal. I have no intentions of hanging myself or ending my life, so let's just make that clear. But they were investigating child sex trafficking, and they both ended up dead. Okay, so the American public was like, oh, no, it's because they were addicts and they were depressed. Bullshit. I'm just throwing that out there. So there's one of two ways that this could have gone. I'm going to say, I have to get these numbers together. There's one of two ways that he could have gone. A lot of people were paid. That entire metropolitan whatever place needs to be shut down. The whole fucking place is corrupt. They're done. No good can come of this. And anybody who is saying that it's a suicide at this point is in on the deal. I'm just going to say that right now. If Barr is saying that it's a suicide, he got paid. Anybody who is saying that it's a suicide at this point who's in a position of power has gotten paid. That's just it. This is a pay-to-play type situation here. I'm going to run the numbers, and I'm going to tell you what I think, and you guys can let me know what you think, but it's so freaky. But it's one of two scenarios, and I have to figure out if this guy's worth the effort. So stay tuned. All right, I see two different scenarios working on the day of his death. One is semi-complicated. The other one is complicated as hell. So this would require a whole bunch of different factors. So anybody that believes in the JFK scenario where there was a body double, this and that, I mean, I'm not ruling anything out at this point. I don't know what his time of suicide was. I see the ultimate betrayal for him because he was getting ready to name names. This now makes him a threat to everybody. So he has to go regardless. One way or the other, he's got to go. So that is already being put into place, and he's in really life-threatening numbers at this point. So on the 9th, he is in a 59-5. 59-5, 5 of swords. Somebody's getting ready to do something. And I'm wondering if he actually was murdered, if he died on the 9th instead of the 10th. And I've said this before because I see this. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they could have strangled him and then hung him up and he was found on the 10th. Possibility, right? But definitely all of the wheels were in motion. You got to realize you're in New York City in this Metropolitan Correctional Center. Do you think those people aren't paid? Do you know how many people die of hanging in these places that had no intentions of killing themselves? Just saying. Here's scenario number 2. And this is a big one, let me tell you. Scenario number 2 consists of... Oh, God, it seems too absurd to say, but I'm going to say it anyways, because why not? We love conspiracy theories, don't we? Let's say there was a body double or some crap, or somebody just said that he was hanging because there's no pictures of him actually hanging, right? Let's say the whole shit show was paid off. Okay, and yes, I'm going out on a limb here. Don't think I'm crazy. Okay, but this is the number that he was in on the 10th. He was in a 60. And this is the tarot card that's associated with the 60. That's a guy in a boat traveling to an island over water. That's somebody going to freedom. That's somebody getting out of a bad situation. Now, if it's working in the negative, it's somebody going from the frying pan into the fire. But what if he got ushered out and sent off to freedom? But it's not actual freedom because he will eventually get caught again, correct? And they can't take that risk. And they, you know who they are. I wish. So on the 11th, if he's still alive, On the 11th, he goes into a 61-7, and this is, haha, I got away. I pulled one over on you. It's a real sneaky vibration. It's not a great vibration when you're dealing with this person. On the 12th, he realizes he's been set up. He's kind of gotten dicked. He's starting to get a bad feeling from the people around him, like, uh-oh, I think I'm in a trap. On the 13th, he's getting worried. What did I just get myself into? Something's wrong. These people are going to fuck me over. And by the 14th, somebody murdered him. So here's my theory on this. They're not going to keep, and I know y'all think he got moved away so he could continue his sex trafficking ring. No. This guy is as good as dead. He knows too much. There's too much shit going on. He's a liability. He's already offered to turn on these people. So he's got to go. It's just like, and I can't believe I forgot Frank Pantangeli's name. He's like Pantangeli. We can't keep him alive. He knows too much. He's already offered to turn. There's no turning back. We have to get rid of him. So that's where those numbers are going if he was somehow taken out of there and ushered to safety. But it wasn't safety for long because I see him exiting the planet on the 14th of August. So something to think about. Am I saying that happened? No, but something to think about because they're not going to keep him alive. He is too much of a liability for them, and they already have a bunch of cleanup work to do because now they have to look at Ghislaine Maxwell, who is the procurer of women. And she is destination fucked. However, Daddy was, before he fell off of his yacht into the sea and died, Jewish mafia. So she's highly connected. However, we all know that these people are highly disposable once they become a liability. I watched way too many mafia movies. But y'all know how that works. Take the Hollywood out of it, still, you're a liability at this point. They're not going to keep you around. So this will be interesting to see how it all plays out. But those are my two theories. He either got 86th on the 9th, or he got ushered to safety on the 10th as a temporary safety and was ultimately killed. But I don't believe he's on the planet anymore. That's my theory. There's a lot of people that wanted to get him. This guy was a shitheel. This guy stole millions of dollars from people. He had one client, and that was Les Wexner. He did not get money from investing. He got money from stealing. He is a piece of crap. And I don't think that the guy Stephen, I don't think that he did it. He did owe Stephen quite a debt for, taking his money and letting him take the rap. But this goes way deeper. This is huge. This is tied, when I look at all of the different connections, it's tied to so many people, so many wealthy people. And it's so huge, but you have to look at who has the most to lose, who is denying it the most, and what industry will it bring down? Because this is just one aspect. So if you're not running drugs and you're not, what are you running now? Now you're running sex trafficking. It's huge. Once again, I'm not suicidal. So it's something to think about. It is very interesting. I did want to get this video out. I'm sure this isn't going to be the only video I do on this, because as I get more information, I will share it with you. Trying to get the full names of some of these people is really hard. So when I get those connections, it's just so funny that the ones that I did get all ended up in hangman shit. But I've seen stranger things. I know that people are capable of doing a lot of crazy things. I know one thing, Jeffrey Epstein's dead. I know two things, he did not kill himself. The only thing I don't know is what day he actually died and how he died. So stay tuned. As I get more information, I'll share it with you. And thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm brand new, so I need all of you. I'm very needy right now. Take care.